Everyone, my name is Josh and welcome to WHIMS, and welcome to my small little series in the build up to Halloween, Bridge to Halloween, which is where I review films, books and TV shows or TV specials, or any kind of topic geared towards disturbing things or things kind of, disturbing or spooky, but not necessarily horror related or under the umbrella of horror. So, for a review for you today, I have The Ink Black Heart, the sixth book in the Cormoran Strike series. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of the plot, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the book proper. When the co-creator of a popular online cartoon series, The Ink Black Heart, named Edie Ledwell, comes into the agency due to being harassed online, private detectives Cormoran Strike and Robin Ellicott are initially unwilling to take on the case due to an overwhelming workload. However, when Edie and her co-creator Josh Blay are found stabbed, one dead and the other in critical condition, the duo are compelled to undergo their investigation. Taking place in the world of the internet, online chats, YouTube videos and Twitter exploits, the pair are searching for one called Anime, one who holds an absence of or a falsehood of social and moral standards, whom they believe to be responsible for the attack. But given that this is the internet, there is always someone hiding something. Can Strike and Robin unmask the culprit without falling prey to hidden dangers lurking around the Ink Black Heart's own twisted fandom? Well, we'll have to wait and see. So this book is the sixth book in the Cormoran Strike series, like I said, and this premise is very good. I will say, though, that if you're a Cormoran Strike fan, I do honestly say, if you're not a Cormoran Strike fan, I wouldn't recommend starting off with this book, because I would definitely recommend the earlier ones. I'd recommend Cuckoo's Calling, Silkworm, Career of Evil, Lethal White, or Troubled Blood as any of those others to start off with, but I wouldn't recommend this one because I feel like this one is quite long, so there is quite a lengthy bit of it to go, quite a lengthy bit of it already. But I feel like the style is very much going to make or break your enjoyment of the book. I personally didn't mind it, and what I mean by the overall presentation of the book is half the book is written in the very standard, chapters where it's got chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, along with a series of descriptions. But then there's other chapters interspersed or peppered throughout it where there are often online chats, tweets being read out or tweets being written, and they kind of go down on a grid. And there's like one chat going on one side of the page, there's one going on in the centre, and there's another one going on in the centre. But if you actually stop and you actually, go through it very slowly, and you actually try to read it very carefully and read and kind of try to pay attention which chat is involving which characters and which online personas, you can very easily get to grips with it quite quickly. But I can say that if you are planning on going into this book to start off the series, I wouldn't recommend it because I do think it's a very complicated book and there's a lot of complicated plots. And I just feel like some of the earlier books are a much more better option, but some people do often, like to jump into the more recent book to get a further head start, but sometimes that can sometimes be detrimental, especially in the case of this book. But I do think it's a really good book. It's a great, interesting new direction to take the characters. Because the last book focused on a cold case and we mostly focused on much older people sitting in their front rooms talking about the events, and it was a missing persons case. This book focuses more on the internet and more, modern day tech. And it does often deal with a lot of interesting things, like all sorts of other, internet jargons, which I won't name because there's such a long list of them that even I couldn't keep track of them. But this book definitely is a lot of fun. It's a very fun ride. And I do have to say, it did keep me going for a while. This actually took me a year to read. Like, literally, I started reading this, well, not really a year. It took me a couple of months. It took me about, 6 to 12 months kind of thing. And the reason why I did this and the reason why I was so slow is when I found out that The Running Grave was coming out in October, I thought, I can take my time with this. But then as I was just starting to finish it, The Running Grave had already come out. So I thought, I better, hurry up and give this a read and finish it. And I ended up doing so. So I ended up, going a little bit behind, but I ended up getting to it in the end. And I ended up getting to the end on record time, kind of. But I really do like this particular book. It's a lot of fun. I like seeing these characters again. There's always a certain degree of comfort with these books that I just really love going back to every once in a while. And I just really love it. Whether I'm actually reading the book or I'm listening to an audiobook version read by Robert Glenister, I always find some kind of comfort with these characters, and I really do love going back and seeing Cormoran Strike and Robin Ellicott and seeing their sort of, their relationship bloom. Whether it turns into a romance, which is what a lot of people are kind of gearing up for, or whether it's just, just mutual friends. But to be honest, the romance is much more, interesting, isn't it? Like, if it's a romance, it's much more interesting. There's a lot more interesting things that you can pull from that. So a lot of people are more, prepared for them to go and have a relationship or have a romance. But to me, I think they're fine perfectly as they are. But I kind of am worried about, what's going to happen to Corm in the later books. And after hearing the synopsis of the Running Grave, I'm also very, very worried for Robin, because I'm thinking to myself, what's going to happen to her? Because she goes into this other storyline, which is a whole other thing for the Running Grave, which I'll save for that particular review. But I found this book to be really compelling. Now, the reason why I chose this for my Bridge to Halloween series is because the cartoon in question, The Ink Black Heart, and the book's namesake, is the title for a cartoon series that's on the internet. It's on YouTube, and it kind of reminds me of a bit of a hybrid between cartoons like My Little Pony or Steven Universe or Adventure Time or even Rick and Morty, that kind of just feel like they're for goths, really. It feels like if you're a Tim Burton fan, or if you're a fan of goth-like stuff, you'll be heavily into the works of Edie Ledwell and Josh Blay. And I feel like that's what this particular cartoon is meant to evoke. It's meant to evoke that very Tim Burton-esque vibe, where there's a lot of gothic imagery, and there's a lot of quirky characters, and there's a lot of insane exploits going on. But for the most part, it sounds like whenever you hear the theme tune to the Blackheart, you should be hearing a Danny Elfman like score, like with the choir and the voices getting higher and higher and higher and la 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 and things like that. Like, you really do get that impression with the way the Ink Black Heart is presented. But I really did like this book. It was a lot of fun, and I really did enjoy it. Now, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on whether or not I was able to figure out the killer, and if you don't want to be spoiled, I would recommend clicking on this video now and going to go and read the book, or getting an audio copy of the book read by Robert Glenister. They're both amazing. But I'm going to be talking about the killer, the identity of the killer. Okay, when I found out who the killer was, I could very easily figure it out. I very easily figured it out from the moment he was introduced. I thought, okay, that's him. And the reason why is I kind of found myself going, okay, the killer in question is someone who doesn't really has a lot of time on their hands, and there's someone who seems to have no life. Well, okay, this one character really did catch my attention, because he seemed to be a little bit too involved in his work. He likes to study music, and he likes to, go online. He likes to go out and type a lot. He spends a lot of time on his laptop, and I thought, okay, he's anime. Like, he's the guy who usually did that. And I actually was very proud when it finally was revealed that, oh yeah, you're right, he's the killer. Because I never usually get it right. I usually think to myself whenever I read these books, okay, this person's the killer, but then J.K. Rowling will always throw in a curveball and says, oh no, wait, you were wrong, it was this guy. Like, you were almost there, but not quite. You were actually looking at this guy instead. That's what I kind of feel like with a lot of the Cormoran Strike books, is that I'm always close to figuring out who it is, but then I'm always never quite there. There's always a twist or something that I didn't quite consider. But when it comes to the Ink Black Heart, I did kind of figure it out very quickly, and I was actually very pleased with myself. So I gave myself a bit of a pat on the back when I found out that it was actually the person who I thought it was. And I actually really did like this book. It was a good time. It's a lot of fun, and I have to say I'm looking forward to The Running Grave. I really am. I'm really looking forward to seeing where these characters go. I'm also a little bit heartbroken that there is actually a storyline in The Running Grave where they have to investigate a cult. They have to try to find a missing person. And Robin has to go into said cult. And after everything that she's gone through, I just felt very sad for her. And I thought, oh no, she's gone through all this rubbish and she's really built herself up and she's really come a long way and really become this very strong female character. But then she has to go into this cult. And I kept on thinking of, Florence Pugh in Midsommar, at the very end of that film. I kept on expecting her to go crazy by the end of that book. So I found myself going, oh my god, I'm not looking forward to reading The Running Grave. But yeah, I really did enjoy this book. I would say if I was to give it a grade, I would say it was a 4 stars out of 5. It wasn't a completely perfect book because I just felt like it did get a little bit too long, but I will give it probably about a 4.5 stars out of 5 because it was a good book. I really did enjoy it. I loved seeing these characters. I loved the mystery. It was very engaging. but I just felt like it just got a little bit too long for me, and I just really I did enjoy it, but I did think it was as it wasn't my favourite out of the series, if that it to rewrap it all up. So, what did you guys think of the Ink Black Heart? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think there were other? Did you think it wasn't as good as the other books in the series? Did you think there were areas where it could have improved? Did you think of what were your thoughts on this book overall? Whatever your thoughts are, please comment below and let me know. And that's all I have for today. And this has been Josh with Whimsical and Interesting Musings. And stay tuned for more Bridge to Halloween content. I have another film review lined up for you guys, and I have a couple of other things that I want to take care of for Bridge to Halloween as well, that I want to give you all for Halloween and the build up to Halloween. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you're all having a very good day. Take care. Bye for now.